Hey guys, how's it going? It's Megamonster16 and welcome to a highly requested tutorial video. And what is that tutorial, you may ask? Well, it's how to animate on the program called Pivot. If you all don't know what Pivot is, basically Pivot is a free program that does basically its main purpose is stick figure animation, but you can also use it for sprite animation, and I'm going to show you how to do it today. So what you want to do is you first get Pivot, and you could just find this on just searching Pivot Sprite Animator on Google, and basically when you get it, you get this website. Not a website, you get this little pop-up, and you always start off with a little stick figure dude. See, you can do whatever you want with him, because when it gives you a stick figure, you automatically get joints. So you have the knees, you have the legs, you have everything. But that's not what we're talking about. So over here on this side, you have a lot of different features. You have the play, the stop, the frames per second, the backgrounds, the sprites, and then the things you can do with the figures. So what you want to do is, if you're doing sprites, what you're going to want to do is, let me get paint, let me open, and let me look at my Lucario sprite sheet. Lucario sprite sheet 1, you open it, and this is basically how I got my sprites for the paint tutorial. So all you have to do is go to the sprite that you're looking for. Say I want this. Then what you do is you select it alone. You copy it. You open a different paint. And then you paste it. And then you save it. But here is the main point. Let me zoom in real quick for y'all. You do not want to save this as a PNG. You want to save it as a 24-bit bitmap, because Flash only takes sprites that are a GIF, a bitmap, or I believe a JPG. But the 24 bitmap is the only type of file that I've seen so far that actually keeps the sprite in its full quality. So I recommend going with that one. And a lot of you are probably saying, like, Bonsai, why are you telling us how to do that paint trick? Why can't we just get like Alfred's sprite animators, like Sprite Unpacked or whatever? Well, I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with Alfred. Even though it's a very good unpacker, it doesn't really, it doesn't really make the sprites at full quality. So if you try to save it as a bitmap, it screws up the sprites as well. So that's why I always do the paint trick, because the sprites always come out crystal clear. But if you are looking for sprites, I suggest going to a place called the Sprites Resource. Here, you can find different types of sprites for different types of characters. But if they have a character you're not looking for, I suggest going to Sprite Database. This is always my backup area, because basically it's like Sprites Resource, but it might just contain a sprite that I don't have, because I know Sprite Database contains fairy tale sprites, but Sprites Resource does not. So Sprite Database is where I come for my fairy tale sprites. Enough about the sprites. Let's go to Pivot. So when we get to Pivot, you want to hit File, and you want to hit Load Background. And you can find backgrounds on, you can search them up on Google. You can type in, you can just type in blank sprite background, so like city sprite background, I don't know, desert sprite background, something like that. But I already have my Captain America versus Cloud sprite map. So let me just click number 2. And when it asks you, would you like to set the animation dimensions to the dimensions of the image, hit yes. Because this will make the screen turn into the exact size of the image. And if you want you have to do the exact same thing to the sprites as you do with the sprite backgrounds. Because watch, load background, file type, JPEG, GIF, or bitmap. So it has to be saved as those. But when you have this, you don't really have to mess with this unless you want to do a transition. Sorry, that was my dog. Say you hit next frame, that's when you want to proceed the animation. You hit next frame, and say you want to have it kind of scrolling. You load the background, and you hit the next background. So background 3 would be it'd move a little bit. So yeah, you have to do that for every single sprite, and if you want to make the moving thing, you're going to have to change each sprite. You're going to have to make each background a little bit farther proceeding in the map than the others. So in Paint, let me load Paint real quick. I suggest say like your map is 800 by 200. And let me just pick black here. Your first sprite would be like 200, 400. Or 200, whatever you'd like. You pick this, you'd copy it, you paste it, and then you'd save it. Your next one, go a 1/10 of the 10th further from both sides. So it will give it the illusion of moving. It'll have the illusion of moving background. So it's kind of like the VCam in Flash, just it's a lot more time consuming, but trust me, it's worth it. But now let's get to the actual sprites. Now you have the sprites, so you click File, you go to Load Sprite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick these Lucario sprites that I've had for a while. And so I want him to do and you can see that I labeled all my sprites like how they're supposed to be. Let me zoom in real quick. You can see I have Lucario Headbutt, Lucario Multi-Kick. Basically I put L as for Lucario, then I put the action he's doing, then 1, 2, 3, how many frames it took. I find it a lot easier because the file puts in alphabetical order, so it's a lot easier to find the selected sprite. But I want him to do the uppercut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick Lucario sprite, and as you can see, you get a little sprite. The orange dot means you can drag it, the red dot is rotation. So you can actually get some cool rotation feels in your animation. But, say like you see these and you're like, Bonsai, he's really small and it doesn't give me a stretch tool. What do? What you do is you go to this thing that says 100. That's the scale of the sprite. So let's change. So if you change it, he becomes bigger. So he would probably be around a 300 in the selected area. And then you hit next frame, and this is where Pivot becomes 10 times better than Paint. Pivot becomes better than Paint. You get an onion layer. Whenever you go to the next frame, you can delete the sprite, and then you left with an onion layer, so you basically can tell what the size of the sprite was and where it was last located. So when I want to do the next one, I hit 3, and I want him moving a little slightly when he's doing it. So I move him, and I just continue moving the sprites. And it takes a little bit, like, to get used to, kind of. Mainly because of the well, it's kind of difficult, but at the same time it's really not, because it's kind of straightforward. with all like the commands and stuff like that. I mean, delete is delete the sprite. Edit is basically for the stick figure. Basically, you won't have to worry about any of these except for probably front, back, flip, and delete. Okay, and let me grab him back. Flip basically flips him on a y-axis. Front, let me grab another sprite. Let me just grab air kick. As you can see, the most recent sprite, it always appears on top. But say you want the character punching someone, but you want their punch to be behind the character, so you can either pick back for this sprite, or you can hit front for that sprite. And if you accidentally put in a sprite that you didn't want in, like at all, this message will pop up like right when you place it down and you click delete. It'll ask, the figure type is no longer being used. Would you like to delete it from the list of figure types? Basically that means, do you want to eliminate it from the selection entirely? So you hit yes. This will not delete it from your files. It will just delete it from the little message tool. Okay, so we're almost done with Lucario's uppercut. So just a few more frames and we will be good. Just a few more. And if you accidentally do something like this, all you have to do is click the little blue dots under the sprite, and all you have to do is just click them and click delete, and you'll just have the other one there. And you'll have this guy. There we go. So I have these two, and if you accidentally click a sprite that you don't want to do, like have, all you have to do is click it, like click the frame, and hit delete. All you have to do is right click, then hit delete. And I'm gonna do it for these two. So now let's play. Now see that? He's doing the uppercut. It's pretty smooth. But this is this is just what I do. You all don't have to do this, but this is just what I do. I always set this to 10. I always set this little meter, sorry, very stiff camera, right there, right here, to a 10. And the reason I set it to a 10 is because it just makes it a lot easier in Movie Maker. God, I really need a better system, but anyway. So let's stop that. File, you save your animation, and what you're going to want to do is go to Picture, hit Pivot File if you're not done with the animation, but if you are, go to Separate Images. I'm just going to put L Test. And all you have to do is that. Hit Bitmap, put all of these to these levels. Hit OK. And since it wasn't much and save instantly, nope, don't save the project. Go to Movie Maker. Okay, now add videos and photos. So go to Pictures. Now I just need to find the L's. Trying to find it. Oh, there they are. Okay. Hit these. And the reason I say set the little meter to 10 is because once it has the selected all thing, hit 0.1. This makes all the sprites a tenth of a second, so it's about the same. It's about the same as the preview on Sprite, on Pivot. But yeah. Basically, now you can just add sound effects and do whatever you want with it. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. It was pretty fast, but I think it was pretty efficient. So anyway guys, I'm Mega Bonsai. I really hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. And I'll see you guys next time.